Hey guys, we are here for Big Brother 23. Yes, 23, and it is the most diverse cast that they have ever had. I had to write a list of the diversity. Let's see, they have two black women, one being of African, first generation African, one South African slash Indian black woman, one black lawyer, aka bartender, one black gay man, smoking Joe Frazier's son, one black slash Mexican man, black. Then we have one woman that may be Hispanic, but I'm not sure. I know she's from Sarasota, Florida, and she's a swimwear designer. One bisexual white woman, one gay white woman nerd who likes dressing up in costumes and making costumes and is, I believe, a scientist. One single white mom who is a hair and makeup artist. Two curly-haired white men who have washboard abs. One resides in Honolulu. I think the other one lives in a small town in Connecticut and has a above-ground pool. So that says a lot. Then we have one white farmer man, one thick, not the typical size of a Big Brother cat guest, female guest, and she happens to be autistic. And we have one Asian man. Oh my. I think they have managed to check off every minority box this season. And unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna say this, and this isn't nice, but it may be the most unattractive cast that they've had yet. And that might be a good thing because maybe people will actually play the game instead of hooking up and having showmances. However, we will not be seeing people flaunting around in their bikinis. Maybe the bikini designer, she'll probably be in, the swimwear designer, she'll be in her swimsuits because, she has to advertise, I think. If she doesn't, then that's a fail. If she doesn't advertise her swimsuit, that's a fail. However, I don't see too many hookups happening in the house. Maybe the two women might hook up, maybe, or maybe, I don't know. I just want to see some real gameplay. It seems as though we have a cast full of people who are actually true fans, not people who are trying to gain follows. But we don't know. I don't know. But also one thing that I have noticed, it seems as though everybody's strategy, or a lot of their strategies, is to downplay their intellect. I'm a lawyer, but I'm going to tell them that I'm a bartender. As if it isn't a science in bartending. I have had many a bad drinks, and it takes a good bartender to get that right. So don't downplay a bartender's intellect. Or then the med student who is saying that, I'm a fashion designer. As if it doesn't take true skill and calculation to promote fashion trends and to design fashions. Fashion is an actual science, and it takes skill. The Devil Wears Prada taught us that. You think you wore that blue sweater because you chose to wear that blue sweater? No, it was forecasted for you. So it's funny that they're, cheapening their intellect, but also knocking someone else's profession. Anyhow, each team, let's get into the games on how they entered the house. They entered the house in fours. So first group was a group of guys. And so, what's her name? I can't even think of her name. Moonves. Why can't I think? Julie Moonves tells them that they will be, in order to vie for the HOH position, they have to play a game, which is basically taking out plexiglass pieces and layering them up in order to match a picture that's on an easel behind them. So instantly I thought, okay, this group, they're not big on strategy at all, or maybe it's just the adrenaline rushing through them because they're so excited to be in the house, but they totally didn't approach this from a strategic way. I personally would have laid out all the tiles, looked at them closely to see what goes where. And I do realize that some of the tiles had misinformation on them, as well as others had foreground and background images, so you really needed to study that. However, The person who emerged as the winner of that round was the farmer guy. And mind you, I don't remember their names yet. And it usually takes me at least 6 or 7 episodes in to get everybody's name down. And sometimes, if the cast isn't that interesting, I don't remember their names. However, so the second group comes in, and it's a group of women. You have the hairstylist mom. You have the tall, leggy African-American, who I'm rooting for, because I'm always rooting for the black people. No shade to anybody else, but that's just how my mind is set up. Root for the underdogs. And since we tend to be the underdogs in this country, that's who I'm rooting for. However, it's too early to tell who I'm truly rooting for. So, who emerges as the winner? The makeup artist, hairstylist, the single mom from Oregon. She was the one who approached it the way I would have approached it. She laid them all out and looked at it. It took her a while to get it, but she got it. Third round, third group comes in, group of guys. 1 or 2 of them did it the way I would have done it. And of course, I'm saying what I would have done, and I'm not there because I know it's harder when you're on the inside. Anyhow, who emerges as the winner? One of the curly buns emerged as the winner of that round. So then we move on to the last round with the women. Who emerged as the winner? The tall, bisexual white woman. She won. So then we move right along, and Julie keeps talking about these twists that are coming up in the season. Yeah, we have some big twists, some really that's gonna determine whether or not one player will take it. It'll be big for the player. Anyhow, so they get to the final round to determine who's gonna be head of household for the week. But then Julie announces, we are now upping the ante to $250,000 more. Now, Julie, why couldn't you just say we are gonna make the final prize $750,000? That would have been easier than we are upping the ante to $250,000 more. Okay, all right. Anyhow, it's just semantics. So they find out that they have to pick their teams based on a slot machine, because the whole theme of this season is gambling and are you a risk taker? It's a gambling theme throughout the house. So basically they have to push a buzzer and it acts like a slot machine. So when 2 people come up, they say a little bit about themselves, and that just determines who you choose. Now, am I the only one? Because I have a twisted mind and I'm usually opposite of everyone. But when she said you would have to choose your team, was I the only one who thought that big boy Joe Frazier's son was going to be last to be picked? I know I wasn't the only one. Anyhow, it goes without saying he was not the last one picked. In fact, there were 2 left over, and they just had to go to each team. You know, like, you go to this team because they need a guy. You go to this team and they need a lady. Bam. Teams are chosen. Now Julie has one more thing in store, which I still kind of don't understand. Basically, the winner of, back it up. So the competition for head of household was the teammates had to balance a bungee cord with a little plaque in the middle, while the person vying for head of household has to build a puzzle. So it's a real like balancing act. And then so meanwhile, they also have to fight a big card that's gonna fall on them, which is like, who's coming up with these games? They keep remixing the games. And then this game I think is a new game, and I've been watching since 2007. I don't even know how many seasons that's been. This seems like a game I haven't necessarily seen, but it seems like it might have been remixed. Anyhow, the balancing act was quite a challenge, because once you think you have it, like one guy ran up and then it had fallen by the time he got to the buzzer, so he had to start over. So the person who ended up winning was the farmer guy. And so Julie then tells him, you have the opportunity to get your whole team safe for 2 weeks, or you can just be safe this week. And he said, I miss my family. I'm not going to do this. I'm like, huh? I didn't get that, but whatever. He misses his family, and he chose not to take the deal, which was to roll the dice on a platform, and 2 dice in 45 seconds without falling. I'm like, okay, that was kind of silly. But then Julie said, you know what? Let's see what you would have done. And he did it within 45 seconds. So it's like, okay, whatever. I didn't win it. Anyhow, the season should be good. It should be interesting. I think we have some real players in the house who actually are fans of the show, who have actually watched the show for seasons. So I'm anxious to see, and I don't think we're going to have a whole bunch of showmances in the house, but it might be good to have one or two. So tell me what you think about this season's cast and the first episode. Like and subscribe, and I will see you later. Peace.
Okay.